Hi there, and welcome to 5 surefire ways to improve conversations with your child. I'm so glad you're here. Almost every parent I work with struggles to have consistently constructive conversations with their teen or young adult child. And to be honest, I struggle with it myself. When our kids are grappling with their anxiety or are deep in their depression, we just want to help. The trouble is, for most of us, the way we try to help is either by offering solutions, trying to create a plan with them, or telling them how capable we know they are. Does any of this sound familiar to you? Sometimes problem solving or shoring our kids up seems to work for a little while, but more often than not, things either blow up pretty quickly and dramatically, or they just seem to gradually fall apart over time. I heard this from a client just last week. She was feeling good about a conversation that she'd had with her son. He'd come to her because he had decided that he was not going to be able to do something that he'd told her he was going to do. She stayed calm and listened carefully while he spoke, helping him to feel heard. Then she suggested an alternative that he might feel more comfortable with. To her delight, he said yes. He thought that was a great idea and he was ready to pursue that alternative. He even seemed energized about it. Unfortunately, the very next day, he completely fell apart and sank back deep into his depression. She was left feeling disappointed and helpless, not knowing what to do next. I imagine you can relate. I know I sure can. The good news is there's a way to avoid ending up in this disappointed, helpless place. And I'm going to talk you through it right now. After 7 years as a certified parenting coach and countless interactions with parents who struggle like I have, I've put together 5 elements that will improve your conversations with your teen or young adult and help you both move forward in a more positive direction. So let's just jump into it. Number 1 is be clear about your intentions for the conversation and stick to them. If you have a chance to plan in advance for a conversation, this can be a lifesaver. And even if you don't, when you begin to create intentions for the conversations that you do have a chance to plan for, you can borrow from those previous conversations when something comes up out of the blue. So just to be clear, your intention is your determination to act in a specific way during the conversation. It's something that you can control. It is not something to make happen or to make someone feel something in particular. You can't control how your child reacts or how your child feels as a result of the conversation. What you can control is how you consistently show up. So I want to say it one more time. Your intention is your determination to act in a specific way. It's something you can control. Some examples of intentions might be, I'm going to stay calm and not yell. I'm not going to interrupt my child while they're talking. I will hold my own boundaries around how I'm willing to be spoken to or treated during the conversation. When you set these intentions in advance and stick to them, you prevent conversations from degrading to an unhelpful, unhealthy place. So that's number one, be clear about your intentions and stick to them. Number two is leave your assumptions behind. We all make assumptions, and you probably know the old saying about what happens when you make assumptions. Assumptions or preconceived notions about our children get in the way of active listening. They color how we hear what our child is saying and what we believe it means. Here's a quick example. When my son calls and his voice is low energy, my brain automatically jumps to the belief that something's wrong. He's going to tell me something I don't want to hear. That belief, if I allow it to rule the conversation, impacts how I show up and makes it harder to stick to my intentions. I've learned that this assumption isn't always true, so when I recognize it at the beginning of a call, I can shut it down for myself. So recognizing your assumptions and leaving them behind when you're talking to your child. That's number two. Number three is approach with curiosity. And this one is my favorite, and it flows naturally from leaving your assumptions behind. When you shut down your assumptions, you create a clean slate for the conversation to fill that clean space. It opens the door to curiosity and the option of understanding your child's intentions for the conversation. Some intentions your child is coming with might include venting about something that's bothering them without asking for help or a solution, sharing something they're excited about or looking forward to, asking for your help with something. The best way to understand your child's intention for the conversation is to approach with curiosity, asking open-ended questions and why questions instead of offering your opinion or telling them what to do. So when you feel yourself tempted to offer an opinion or tell them what to do, go back and replay in your mind what they just said and see if there isn't instead room for another why or another open-ended clarifying question that can give you more information and help them move toward a solution on their own or keep you in line with their intention. Number four is when your child answers your question, believe them. This might be the most difficult one. How many times have you heard your child say, "I've got it," and you believe in every fiber of your being that they do not got it? And the thing is, you might even be right. Still, I'm sure you've learned that behaving or talking as if you don't believe them doesn't end well for either one of you. It shuts the conversation down, most of the time on a bad or negative note. And worse, it makes your child less likely to engage with you in the future and have come to you for conversation. Here are some benefits of believing them, that might help you with this item. First, it engenders trust and confidence in them that they can have helpful conversations with you, encouraging them to come to you in the future, and that's what you want to see happen. It also supports the power with rather than the power over dynamic that grows increasingly important as your child matures and appropriately separates from you. It makes room for your child to experience and for you to allow them to live with the natural consequences of their choices and behaviors. And it builds resilience in your child as they manage those natural consequences with your support, of course. So when you've set your intention for a conversation, left your assumptions behind, approached with curiosity, and are actively listening to what your child is saying, go the next step and believe what they're telling you. Finally, number 5 is know when to quit, or maybe just pause. Sometimes, despite your best efforts or intentions, the conversation will devolve into an unhelpful place and become more harmful, actually, than helpful. One of you might get triggered, or you may just recognize that you're not getting anywhere and you're tired. Regardless of the reason, the most helpful thing you can do if this happens is to calmly end or pause the conversation. This doesn't mean you won't come back to it. It means that you'll both have the chance to get some distance from it and reset your emotions so that you can begin again in a constructive way. Every parent I've worked with is looking for ways to improve conversations with their child. They feel frustrated, they feel worried and helpless when it comes to connecting with their teen or young adult who lives with anxiety, depression, or other mental health challenges. I help my clients consistently develop these practices and use these strategies so that they can see meaningful improvement in their conversations and connection with their child. There's a lot to think about here, and you may have questions. If you do, send them my way via email or through social media, and I'll respond as soon as I'm able. My email address is coachingwithcarolyn01, all one word, @gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook at carolyn.g.lambert or on Instagram at coaching_with_Carolyn. I'll put that information in the video notes as well. Again, thanks for listening. I look forward to hearing your questions and engaging with you, and I'll talk to you soon.